After years of debate, student athletes in the U.S. collegiate NCAA system can finally earn from their name, image and likeness. But for the scores of Jamaican students who compete in the NCAA, there are still disadvantages where that is concerned. The NCAA adopted an interim name, image and likeness NIL policy starting in July of 2021. It signaled the end of years of attempts from collegiate athletes for an opportunity to benefit from some of the millions of dollars being earned from the use of their name, image and likeness by colleges in the United States. And it didn't take long for reports to emerge of athletes earning massive deals, even six figures in some cases. So the door should then be open for Jamaicans in US colleges to cash in as well, right? Not so fast. Jesse Marsh, a former Jamaican swimmer who plied his trade in the US collegiate system at Villanova in Pennsylvania, has been exploring the issue.
For international students, when you go, regardless if you're an athlete or not, when you go to the United States for school, you have to get an F1 visa, which is a student visa. And there's a lot of stipulations when it comes to having that visa to be able to be, legally in the United States. One of them is with, in terms of work, where the first year you can only work on campus. Then you can, after the first year you're there, you can apply for something called a CPT, which is curriculum practical training.
But even that has its own caveat.
And a lot of these things that come through NIL, a lot of these deals and a lot of these, the ways to promote brands, to get sponsorships, don't necessarily fall under someone's major. For the most part, it doesn't really fall under anyone's major. So that, leaves international student athletes ineligible.
Track and field is one of the sports which sees a number of Jamaicans getting scholarships to US universities each year. So we sought the opinion of Jamaica Track and Field Coaches Association JATAFCA President David Riley, who agreed that the freeing up of NIL rules could play a role in whether Jamaican track athletes decide to go the professional route or take up a US scholarship. But he warned that student athletes shouldn't skip steps.
I think in addition to that, there are some other things that we need to solve. We need to make sure that the athletes are qualified to take up those scholarships.
Riley, who says advising student athletes about those opportunities isn't directly within the purview of JATAFCA, says athletes also need to consider which universities they choose.
Because where you go will affect how easy it is to navigate that. Because, of course, some schools will have a greater support system to facilitate you accessing those options, versus others who might not have all the big stars, not accustomed to having these athletes who have that kind of profile.
But Riley doesn't believe the restrictions on NIL for international students will stop Jamaicans from choosing the US collegiate option.
Well, what are the options? The options locally, there is no way you're going to earn from being in a tertiary institution in Jamaica.
There is, however, a workaround which could see Jamaicans and other international student athletes attending colleges in the US earning from their name, image and likeness. We explore that in part 2.